Hey everyone, it's Desiree, and I am here for ARTEZA. Recently, they had sent me a couple different products. One of them was the roll of foam tape, or what they are calling foam mounting tape, and I had done a review comparison to some other brands of foam tape, so I'll put that up in the upper corner over there. But along with that, they had also sent me their mica powder collection. So in this collection, there are 60 different colors within this. Now, I will equate these mica powders to the Ranger Perfect Pearls, okay, because they are mica powders as well. So one area that there is a difference between these mica powders, and I'm going to grab some of my Perfect Pearls. Now there's also out there the Pearl X. So I have a couple of those as well that we can compare against. So, and again, still sniffling, apologizing. Video will be long. Gabby, apologizing now. Okay, moving on. So ARTEZA has two sets. They have a 60 color and they have a 35 color. Now, when it comes to your prices, these two are comparable in price. They range anywhere from $2.50 to $2.99 per jar. These here are sold in sets. They are not sold individually. So ARTEZA's 60 count is $49.99, and they also have a 35 count. And that is $47.99. Yes, there's a $2 difference between the two sets. I don't know if that was an error on their part on the site. I can find that out. But obviously, your better price break would be for the 60 count. And when you look at it, each one is just under $1 a piece. They're less than that. So, keep that in mind. Less than $1 each, $2.50 to $2.99 for each of these. So there is a difference in price point. Now, I do know when it comes to these are the middle of the road. Okay, so these prices can vary at different locations. I do know at Jerry's Artorama, these are available in sets. And I do know they have a 12 color set for $17.59. So that puts these at like $1.40-ish, $1.50 per pot. So again, this is middle, these are the higher, these are the lower. Again, price points. So there's going to be different techniques that I'm going to do for each of these. There's going to be 5 things that I do. I'm going to create a spray. I'm going to create a paste. I'm going to paint with these. I'm going to use these with Versamark ink. And then I'm going to try something with clear embossing powder. I just want to see what it does because now I'm curious. All right, so those are the 3 things that we are going to do. So let me get all my materials together and I will be right back. Okay, so I'm going to be using the same paper for each of the pigments. Now, these are what the ARTEZAs look like at the bottle. Okay, each one is 0.18 ounces. And again, there are 60 different colors in this box. This is just, of course, 3 of those colors. Here, these are the Pearl X, the Jacquard. I guess that's how you say that. I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong. There are 3 grams in this one. All right, and then this is what this container looks like. And then, of course, your perfect pearls. They like to tell you that this side up. And I'm not sure what the amount is here, but I'll make sure that it is down there. It's probably about the same as this, maybe. Okay. So first up is we're going to create a spray. So I have a mister. One of these is the Ranger, so I'm going to put that with ARTEZA. And then the other two are by Recollections. So I'm going to choose a color, and I'm going to put a little bit of the powder in to the mister. Now this comes with the ARTEZA set, but you can use as long as it is thin enough to get in there so that you can get pigment, scoop it out. And you can use this, or, you know, whatever other spoon you may have. Now, this does make a mess, so you really want to be careful. And I should really put another piece of paper down. So hold on here. Need to grab one of my tablets. Okay. In fact, I'm going to put these papers back here right now. Okay, now we can put this back up here and we can pick this up. All right. So each one is going to get 2 of these scoops. And I'll use my microfiber towel to clean up in between. Gotta make sure I put my cap back on. And I'm gonna put this in here. And I'm gonna shake from side to side. You want to be careful. Mica powder will get caught into the nozzle and will cause it to clog. So that's why they do say to shake them side by side. You will be tempted to do this, but once it's shaken up, then you can do that. But you just want to make sure, as I throw it, that everything is mixed up. So I'm going to set that and lay that down, and I'm going to work on my next color. And again, this stuff will stain on a dime. So you really should have gloves on, or I should really have gloves on. I'm just saying. All right, so here's our first one. Here's our second one. Now, the more pigment that you put into your sprayers, the darker the color. So remember that. Again, going side to side, and you can see the pigment's moving, and we're going to fill up our last one. For this one, I'm going to go with the good old clear. This is another way for you to make your own shimmer powders. I learned that trick when it came to the Perfect Pearls, with the pearl actually, from Jennifer McGuire. It's a perfect substitute, and it works wonderfully. All right, so now we have these made. So what I'm going to grab, actually, instead of the Bristol paper that I have there, I'm going to get a piece of black cardstock because I want you to see the shimmer also. So I'm just going to cut that. I'll grab a white gel pen. And we'll just write the types here. All right, so I'm going to set these aside. So if I just give this one more shake, I want to make sure everything's mixed. Now what's cool, you see that bluish tint on the black paper. I'm going to set that side to dry, and I am going to spray it onto the Bristol as well. So again, a totally different look. We're going to set that side to dry. We're going to do the same thing with the Pearl X. I'm going to let that dry, and I'm going to spray that onto that cardstock. I'm just going to set these off to the side here. I'm going to shake this, prime that up. Again, we'll put that there, and we will do that there. All right, so these are going to dry. And now what I want to do is I'm going to real quick clean up a little bit, and I'll be right back. All right, so now I'm going to try modeling paste. We should be able to tint modeling paste. Or I should say, yes, you can. So I'm just going to take a little bit. Put that down on my mat. And let's see, we'll use this color now. And for this, I will use 1 spoonful of each of the colors. It'll be a miracle if I am not wearing this by the end of this video. I'm just saying. Now, know that when it comes to the jars for your mica powders, they do settle. So they will compact against each other. So some jars, especially in the ARTEZAs, they may not look like they're full, but in reality, they are. So keep that in mind. All right, now I'm just going to mix this up. Thank goodness for a glass mat. Loving this concept here. Just going to mix these up. And then I'm going to grab this same sheet, and I'm going to real quick grab a stencil, and I'm just going to do a small area with what I have here. All right, so that's the ARTEZA. And again, I'm going to set them back so that they can dry. Now, this is not something that we can put back in a pot. And we'll clean this off so I don't use that same area. All right. And we're going to do the same thing here. So what I'm looking here is, does the modeling paste keep the shimmer? Does this dry? You know, I've used metallic pastes before, and when they dry, they don't look anything of what they look like when you're putting them down, when you're putting them through the stencil. When they dry, they look like a piece of metal. So I'm curious to see, and I know, you know, again, when I say I'm curious to see, I've seen other YouTubers do some of these things, get certain results, and I know they did. But I just want to see these results firsthand, and I want you to be able, and again, not that because I'm doing it, it's firsthand, but to show that if you are an art journaler, or if you do find that you use modeling paste a lot, this could be a way to stretch your modeling paste to only get one type, you know, the clear or the white, because you can change the color of it. All right, so I'm going to come in with this corner here, and we are going to put the Pearl X on this one. We'll lift that and we'll let that dry. And then finally, clean this off. We'll pick this up and we'll see what this does. All right, we'll put that in our waste can and we'll let that dry. Okay, let me clean this up and I'll be right back. Okay, so far we've sprayed, or we've created sprays, and we've created a paste using modeling paste, and it was the white. Okay, so it wasn't clear, it was a white modeling paste, okay? The next thing that I want to try is something, and I'm sure somebody else has done it, I just haven't seen it yet. I'm going to take some clear embossing powder. This is my Recollections, and I don't know if this is going to work. I can't see why not. Well, this will be fun, won't it now? So I'm going to take a little bit of the embossing powder, and you know what? I'm going to get some containers, so hang on for 1 second. Okay, so I grabbed 3 containers, so it's going to be one for each. Now, I'm going to only be using a very minimal amount, but these containers I get from Amazon, and I use these for when I mix my embossing powders, because you can't put them in the original pot they came from, but I can certainly use these. And these are just film canisters, if I'm not mistaken. So very inexpensive. So I'm going to take and put a little bit of embossing powder, just that much, in each one. So as you can see, it didn't put a dent in what I have here. And then I'm going to put some of this color, and I want to make sure that I choose a color. Oh, here we go again. This blue goes all over the place. This stuff is just violent. So I'm going to put 1 spoonful of that color in there. And I'm going to do that for each one, but I'm going to make sure that I choose, you know, a bright color so that you can see it. So it could already be one that I've used before. Okay. And then I think we're going to go with the copper here. And then we're just going to stir. I don't know, this just has me curious. And again, I am sure somebody else did this already. And you're probably all screaming, it's gonna do this, it's gonna do this, and I'm not hearing you. But that's okay. So this will be fun. All right, so now what I have, let me get a blank sheet of paper here. I'm going to get 3 of them. Okay, so first up, I'm going to use the same card. So we're doing the ARTEZAs first. I've primed, this is just a circle. And I want to make sure it's good and stamped. So I'm going to stamp that up there, and I'm going to cover it with this. Now, of course, the powder's going all over the place, but again, we're trying something new here. All right, now let's get rid of that one. I'm going to heat set them once they're all stamped. So here's the Pearl X up next. All right, let's put this back in the pot. That one, and then lastly, the Perfect Pearls. Same thing, solid image. Stamp that up there. All right, and this one can go back in now. All right, now before I make a mess, I am going to put my caps on of these. Okay. Now, we are going to heat set them. All right, so now they are heat set. Sorry about that noise. But again, I'm going to show everything once we're done. We're just going to keep on going through. All right, so now I'm going to grab each of these cards because now I have the outline circle. And I'm going to grab my Desiree K amalgam. And I'm just going to stamp a circle in the center of each of those pages. And again, it's all the same paper. It is all Bristol. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to set those aside. And I'm just going to add a little bit of water to my glass mat here. And I'm going to add, I need a paintbrush. Here's a paintbrush. So I'm going to yeah, that was a lot of funny noises. So I'm just putting a puddle of water down on my table. Now I'm just gonna not do that. Oh, here's my spoon. That's what I couldn't find. All right, so I'm gonna do a half a spoon on each one of these. So a half a spoon. And that was a quarter. All right, so can we paint? So the first one up is the Arteza. Going to mix that into my water. I'm going to fill that in. Can you see that? Gotta be careful, I don't want to go into that water there. All right. Let's wash our brush. All right, set that aside. Now we're going to do the Pearl X. Again, I'm going to mix that up into the water. Clean my brush. And then finally, our perfect pearls. And we're going to fill that one in. And clean our brush again. All right. So what I'm going to do now is clean all of this up. We did our 5 different techniques. We painted. We checked to see if we can paint with mica powders. We checked to see if we could emboss with them by changing the color of clear embossing powder. We stenciled with them using a modeling paste to change its color. And we also created a spray. So paint, embossing, stenciling, spray. I'm missing something. Oh, there's one more thing that we're going to do, and it's going to be for that circle thing. So you'll see that when I come back and after I get this all cleaned up. Okay, so we got all this clean. So now what I'm going to do, one of the other things that you can do with mica powder is if you use your Versamark or any of your clear inks, all right, Versamark, Simon Says, whichever one it is, one of the things that you can do if you've got a light fluffy brush, all right, and I'll have 3 different ones so that we're not contaminating. You don't want to use one of your watercolor brushes. Once you use this brush, the very fluffy mop, black bristled brush, then that's what you use this for. I wouldn't use it for anything else, and they will come clean. I forget where I got these. I think I got these at my local arts and crafts store, but again, they're very Very soft bristles. It's a mop style brush, synthetic. So it's very soft. That's what you're looking for. But what you're able to do is you are able to add pigment, because that's what pretty much mica powder is. It's a pigment. And you can put it on top of the area where you have your clear ink. And it will take on that shimmer and color. You can also stamp with these as well. So there's the ARTEZA, and I can keep on adding color to it. Now again, these are small pots, but I didn't want to dump it out. So you can see I can just keep on building on that, and then I can try to get that back in there, but lost cause. And you never want to use your brush wet. It's always going to be dry when you're doing this technique. So it's almost like our blending brushes, and then you just clean it by rubbing it back and forth. I'm going to take this, tap that on my trash can, and then set that aside. I'm going to make sure my cap is on, because it'll just go everywhere. So next up, I'm going to do the perfect pearls. So I'm going to choose, well, for ease of seeing, this is Heirloom Gold. All right, now I know I stamped on this. And that's right there. And just by working that in, you're going to continue to build that color. And then the last one we'll do is the Pearl X. So I'm going to move that out of my way, bring this down. Oh yeah, that stuff went all over the place. And we'll keep circling that in there. And by putting, now if you do this technique, and when you do this technique, you do need to have a fixative spray to lock it. Now, perfect pearls, you do not need a fixative spray. You just need water. Mist it with water, bam, doesn't move. It's actually pretty awesome, okay? Where these others, you do need to have a fixative spray to lock them in, or else they're just going to keep moving, okay? So 5 techniques on how to use, on the ways that you can use mica powders. Now, I'm sure there are so many more different ways that we can use mica powders. Again, just scratching the surface, especially if it's just a pigment. And I don't mean just a pigment. It's a beautiful thing if it's a pigment, because there's so many more things that you can do with them. You could mix these with gesso. So a white gesso, you're going to get that color. So you'll be able to use the gesso paint and change its colors as well. So if we look at each one, okay, now I don't think, yeah, these here are not completely dry, but this is the ARTEZA. So here's the spray. I don't know if the camera is going to catch that. I'm hoping. There we go. That's the spray. Here's where we painted, so we can paint with them. Here's mixing it with clear embossing powder. Okay, I'm just saying that's awesome. So you can mix it with clear embossing powder, and it's not coming off. Here's where our Versamark ink. Now, if I keep rubbing on that, that will come off on my finger, and it is. Now my finger's green. All right, and then of course this is through the stencil. Now when this dries, you will see part of the shimmer. Okay, that will dry with the shimmer going through it. So you can change the texture and the look of your modeling paste. So just buying clear embossing powder, clear or white gesso or modeling paste, you would have, depending upon whether you get perfect pearls or the Pearl X or the ARTEZAs, you would have that number of colors of modeling paste, of embossing powders, of paints, of sprays, different ways to stamp. So think about that. You can do these techniques. This is what the Pearl X looks like. And again, you've got the same effect. We can paint. Here's the paint. Here's the Versamark ink. Here's the embossing. Here's the spray. So you've got all these, and again, once that dries, you're going to see that shimmer in there. So very, very comparable. Very pleased with how ARTEZA is matching up to those that have been out for a very long time. So here's the Versamark, here's the paint, here's the embossing, there's the spray, and then here's our stenciling in the Heirloom Gold. Again, when this dries, you will see that shimmer. Okay, it won't be metallic-like, but you'll see the shimmer. Okay, so these are the three things. Now, to see them on black cardstock, here's the Pearl X. Here's the Perfect Pearls. And then here's the ARTEZA. Now what's great is this ARTEZA looks like that on white, but we get these different shades on black. So that's kind of cool. Didn't realize that was going to happen. So here you go. So if you were questioning or curious about mica powders and what you can do, they fit very well into the card making world, especially when using the technique with the Versamark ink and stamping. I've seen a couple videos where people have used the layering stamps on them and just use these, and it is absolutely beautiful. And it's nice to know that we can extend out our clear embossing powder and create our sprays on our own. Very cost effective. So I hope this helped. If you had any questions on any of the mica powders that are out there, I know there are more. These are just the three that I had. Now again, the Pearl X and the Perfect Pearls are those that I purchased, and ARTEZA had sent me their 60 count package to review as well. I am not being paid for this in any way, shape, or form, and all of these opinions and the ways that I've used them are of my own opinion. So please make note of that. But please, all of the links of all of these products will be down below in the video description. If you have any questions or comments, please leave those down below as well, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If you're a subscriber currently, I want to say thank you. I am truly thankful that you are here and enjoy and continue to enjoy the videos. If you haven't subscribed yet, I'd love for you to hit that button. Make sure you ring the bell so that you know when the next video is live, and make sure you hit that thumbs up. Again, and as always, I hope everyone is enjoying their day, but always remember what's most important for me. Always be creative.